Good evening and welcome to the City of Spokane City Council Legislative Meeting for Monday, November 15th. We have before we start the proclamations, the City Clerk call the roll.
Council President Biggs.
Present.
Councilmember Burke.
Here.
Councilmember Cathcart.
Present.
Councilmember Kinnear.
Present.
Councilmember Mumm.
Here.
Councilmember Stratton.
Here.
Councilmember Wilkerson.
Present.
Let the record reflect that all council members are present.
And we have two proclamations this evening. The first is regarding type 1 diabetes. Councilmember Michael Cathcart is going to read that, and he's joined by Fondra McGee. Councilmember Cathcart.
Thank you. City of Spokane proclamation. Whereas type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune disease in which a person's pancreas stops producing insulin, and while there is no known cause for type 1 diabetes, it results in a person's own immune system killing the beta cells in the pancreas, thereby destroying that person's ability to produce insulin. And scientists think that both genetic and environmental factors contribute to the onset of type 1 diabetes, which has nothing to do with diet or lifestyle. There is nothing individuals can do to prevent type 1 diabetes and no cure. And whereas as many as 3 million Americans have type 1 diabetes, and each year more than 30,000 children and adults are diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, the incidence of type 1 diabetes is estimated to increase by 3% annually worldwide. And type 1 diabetes accounts for $4.9 billion in healthcare costs in the United States each year. And whereas type 1 diabetes strikes at any age, develops suddenly, and in some cases without symptoms, it causes dependence on injected insulin for the rest of the person's life and carries the consistent threat of devastating complications, either when blood sugar is too low or too high, making continual monitoring of a person's blood sugar mandatory. And while insulin injections with a shot or pump allow a person with type 1 diabetes to stay alive, they are not a cure and may not prevent such complications as blindness, stroke, heart attack, and kidney failure. Now, therefore, I, Nadine Woodward, Mayor of the City of Spokane, on behalf of the citizens of Spokane, do hereby proclaim November 2021 as Type 1 Diabetes Awareness Month. And I will turn it over to Fondra McGee.
Okay, thank you so much. This is Fondra McGee. I'm a mom of a type 1 diabetic and a volunteer with Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. And I'm actually going to turn it over to Sam, who's going to introduce himself to you. A big part of the Eastern Washington community here with juvenile diabetes.
Thank you, Fondra, and thank you, Councilman Cathcart, for the proclamation. As the advocacy team chair for Eastern Washington and a type 1 diabetic myself, I want to thank the City of Spokane for this proclamation and to bring awareness to type 1 diabetes. Type 1 diabetics struggle with type 1 diabetes every day. It doesn't go away. It's not a part-time job, it's a full-time job. And we're doing a lot of really cool things to bring a lot of efforts to find a cure, to develop research for a cure and for treatments for type 1 diabetics. So again, thank you very much for the City of Spokane for this proclamation.
All right, thanks for joining us and all the work that you do. Next, I get to read a proclamation myself regarding National Apprenticeship Week. Whereas registered apprenticeships create opportunities by allowing apprentices to earn while they learn and prepare a pathway to family wage careers locally and nationally. And whereas registered apprenticeship programs enable employers and trainers to develop and train their workforce while offering paths to well-paying, portable, in-demand, and critical jobs. And whereas registered apprenticeship programs require 8,000 to 10,000 hands-on training hours over 3 to 5 years, additional classroom hours, and safe journey level to apprentice ratios. And whereas Spokane is a national leader in mandatory apprenticeship utilization requirements. And whereas through the expansion of opportunities in our workforce that are inclusive of individuals who have been historically underserved, registered apprenticeships provide a career path for all qualified individuals, including women, Indigenous peoples, youth, people of color, justice-involved individuals, and individuals with disabilities to contribute to America's industries. And whereas registered apprenticeships provide a critical talent pipeline that can train and build up our workforce to address pressing issues such as climate change, cybersecurity response, public health issues, and rebuilding our country's infrastructure. And whereas Spokane area labor unions, businesses, academic institutions, social service organizations, and the entire community benefit from registered apprenticeship programs. Now, therefore, I, Brian Beggs, Spokane's City Council President, on behalf of the community members of Spokane, do hereby proclaim the week of November 15th through 21st, 2021, as National Apprenticeship Week in Spokane. Thanks for bringing this to us, and we have Mr. Brett Weidman from the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters to address us on the importance of a National Apprenticeship Week. Brett.
Apprenticeship programs. Now, therefore, I.
Thank you, Council President Beggs and members of the Spokane City Council. On behalf of the United Association Plumbers and Steamfitters Local 44 and all registered apprentices everywhere, I want to thank you for this recognition. The Learn Why You Earn registered apprenticeship model has been one of the most important programs that has built our nation's infrastructure and, equally important, our middle class. We here in the city of Spokane and the state of Washington are truly committed to upholding the gold standard for apprenticeship training and look forward to showcasing those talents of today's apprentices as we responsibly address climate change, as we upgrade energy infrastructure, and as we build out the current infrastructure of our great city with new housing, schools, and hospitals for our city to thrive. We greatly appreciate the council and your proven commitment to be a leader amongst cities across our state and our country that have interest and committed to important policies surrounding mandatory apprentice utilization. I thank you again for your continued support and the partnership with you. And thank you all here tonight for recognizing National Apprenticeship Week and the bright future that our registered apprentices represent. Thank you.
Thank you, Brett, and all the apprenticeship programs that you have been working with, so we really appreciate it. And we have no committee appointments, but we do have an administrative report because, as you might have noticed in the last few days, it is snow season. And so I see Marlene Feist and Clint. Who's going to kick it off for us?
Well, actually, Clint's going to do this report for you. He's also going to give you a little update on the winds that we've had today. So.
All right. Welcome, Clint.
Good evening, Council President and Council. So, yeah, it's that time of season as fitting on a stormy evening. So, anyway, we'll present the snow plan. Not a lot of changes from previous years, but we'll go through it based upon your feedback. We heard from you that more plowing sooner, more equipment, completion of a full city plow during heavier snowfalls more quickly was preferred, minimizing driveway berms, as well as greater emphasis on plowing snow away from sidewalks, and also to focus on schools, medical facilities, and the other important areas. So when it snows, even if it's an inch or two, crews will plow all the streets, including residential streets. As part of the regular workday, Monday through Friday, crews clear snow throughout the city. Even when there are small amounts of snow, the utility crews supplement our crews to add more resources. The more equipment is available on a regular basis for plowing, and we do more maintenance plow work to try to keep the streets cleared. When a full city plow is needed, the city will move to 24/7 operations. The full city plow takes about 3 days to do. Our driveway berms, we now have 17 snow gates to address those. Won't completely eliminate the berms, but it does minimize them drastically. We do have a new loader we bought last year with the wing plow and a snow gate as well, which gives us a lot more flexibility, clearing the turn bays and doing some of the work on the arterials where it's a little too tight for our trucks to do. We do put a lot of effort into training our drivers every year. The crews, we emphasize not to plow in the sidewalks, and I think they are getting better. It's always a constant effort to do that. The crews want to do a good job, and certain snow conditions make it more difficult, but we do reinforce that, and I know we're going to get that down someday. Parking's always probably the biggest challenge. We ask that citizens continue to park on the odd side of the street. Make it a habit. It just gives our crews more room to plow the snow to the even side. It is that time of year when people need to be finding other arrangements for their boats and trailers. Long-term storage facilities would work best for that. Reminder for downtown, no parking between the hours of midnight and 6 a.m. This allows the crews to be able to clear the parking bays and work those areas during the off hours. Sidewalks, the city will clear the sidewalks on our property. The residents are asked to keep a 36-inch path to help pedestrians. Seniors and individuals, disabled individuals can call 311 to get connected with our volunteer services. Work at home has changed the landscape a little bit, but we are dealing with more cars in the residential areas, so that makes it even more important to park on that odd side of the street. The new equipment for this year, we've added a new truck with slide-in sander that gives us more flexibility to serve the citizens. And additional change that we've made is to locate new facilities around the city to enable our crews to be able to access materials easier and more quickly, and that way it reduces their exposure to the traffic of having to drive to the other locations much farther away, and they can get back in the routes quicker to service everybody. Last of all, watch for the snow brochure. It'll be in the utility bills in November, and stick the residential plow map to your fridge. You can follow the city on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Nextdoor. They also post when we have snow response news to report. City's website's another good link for information as well. And watch out for information on the local media. And also, always, you can call 311 to find information as well. And, of course, I was couldn't share my presentation I had, but I think you folks have memorized that enough over the past years. But we do have some reminders for the windstorms. Did you want me to go over those, Marlene?
Yeah, I think that'd be great, Clint. I mean, we're kind of in the middle of it, but wouldn't hurt to send that out to the council members and to the citizens.
Okay. Well, a few bullet points for everyone is, of course, we have the storm tonight. With the high winds that were forecast through 9 p.m. this evening, we do have quite a bit of damage reported across the city at this time. The street crews are responding to those reports to assess the damage and create a list of how we'll respond in the daylight hours when it's much safer for the crews to get out. It is easier for our crews right now. We moved into winter shifts starting Sunday, so we now have crews available to work around the clock. We're working 2 shifts now, 7 days a week. The crews are also working with the VISTA to closely to identify the locations with lines fires, working with the Vista to address any emergent issues as well. We do have additional resources available, just like snow plowing, for any additional needs we have through the other departments in the city. If the trees come down, crews will prioritize those opening block, the arterials first. They will go back later when the wind subsides and work on the other blocked residential streets. So that's part of the assessment tonight as we look at that. As always, citizens can still call 311 to report trees blocking roadways. For any trees entangled in power lines, please call Avista at 1-800-227-9187, or you can access on their website through their outage map. If there are down power lines, they pose an emergency, please call 911. Don't approach down power lines. And that's for the crews to assess and determine. Citizens are responsible for trees down on their private property. We encourage people to avoid working on the damage, of course, till after the storm, and it's much safer to do so tomorrow in the daylight. If a tree cleanup is needed, citizens can take tree debris from their yards to the waste energy facility at Geiger, and residents who need to clear debris from the private property are encouraged to refer to the list of licensed arborists at SpokaneCity.org. And a reminder, Clean Green weekly pickup continues through December 3rd for those who've subscribed to the service. I think that's most of the bullets that I had. Any questions?
Any questions for Mr. Harris? All right. Oh, Councilmember Stratton.
Just a quick question, Clint, if you know the answer. In residential areas, are people going to get a warning first before any parking tickets with the snow if they're parked wrong?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we'd prefer to inform and try to work with them first and encourage them. That would be a last resort.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Mr. Harris, for bringing us the annual installment of this and the reminders to people to park on the odd side of the street when the snow flies and to take care. All right. That brings us to the end of our administrative report. And that brings us to the legislative agenda, starting with special budget ordinances.
Ordinance C 36-133, amending ordinance number C 35-971, passed by the City Council December 14, 2020, and entitled, an ordinance adopting the annual budget of the City of Spokane for 2021, making appropriations to the various funds of the City of Spokane government for the fiscal year ending December 31, 2021, and providing it shall take effect immediately upon passage, and declaring an emergency and appropriating funds in Solid Waste Fund 1, increase appropriation by $1,875,330. A, the increase in appropriation is from the Solid Waste Fund's unappropriated reserves. B, of the increased appropriation, $1,061,284 is provided solely for machinery and equipment. C, of the increased appropriation, $814,046 is provided solely for repair and maintenance supplies. This action allows for ordering essential parts with long lead times in November 2021 in preparation for the planned 2022 spring outage at the waste-to-energy plant.
All right, there's no requested community comment. Any council commentary? Seeing and hearing none, we'll have a roll call. Councilmember Mumm.
Aye.
Councilmember Stratton.
Aye.
Councilmember Kinnear.
Aye.
Council President Sinai. Councilmember Burke.
Aye.
Councilmember Cathcart.
Aye.
Councilmember Wilkerson.
Aye.
All right, that passes 7-0. Ms. Pfister, the next one.
Ordinance C 36-134, Public Safety and Judicial Grant Fund 1, increase revenue by $833,433. A, revenue increase due to awarded grant funding through Spokane County toward the Spokane Regional Mental Health Field Response Team Program Grant. 2, increase appropriations by $833,433. A, increase in appropriations to be used towards funding 6 full-time SPD employees assigned to the Behavioral Health Unit. 1 sergeant who will oversee the unit. Number 2, 1 mental health coordinator. Number 3, 4 police officers. This action allows acceptance of grant funding for 6 SPD employees assigned to the behavioral health unit.
And we have one community member who's requested to testify, and that's Nicolette Ochiltree. Nicolette, if you want to hit star 3. Welcome to City Council, Nicolette. You have up to 3 minutes.
Good evening. I'm a pretty big fan of this partnership between Frontier Behavioral Health health professionals and the Spokane Police Department officers. This behavioral health unit co-deployment team approach to public health and safety really works, and I'm glad to see that it's receiving more funds to expand their capacity to serve and protect citizens with dignity. At an ARP open house last month, I had a chance to talk to Police Chief Meidel about the success of the behavioral health unit, and I asked him, why do you think they're so successful? And he said a couple of things. One, he said that it lessened the burden of the police force in general because patrol didn't have to go out on those calls. In fact, he said that there were 190 hours that patrol didn't have to respond to because of the behavioral health unit. He also said that officers aren't assigned to the behavioral health unit. They volunteer to be on them. So no one is forced to be on that kind of duty. They want to be there. And he also said that another reason why they are so successful is because they can take their time and aren't beholden to the rush of calls that happens when you're doing patrol calls and having to field those as well. He also shared some statistics about the behavioral health unit for the month of, I believe it was for the month of September 2021. And he said that 77% of the calls resulted in something other than jail or hospital. 1% were arrested, 7% were diverted. He also said there were about 297 calls countywide, and again, that 190 hours of patrol hours didn't have to actually respond to those calls because they had the behavioral health unit doing them. So again, I'm a big fan of this. I'm glad to see that more funding's going into expanding it, and I really look forward to seeing what they're able to do with that extra manpower. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your testimony. Any council commentary? All right. Seeing and hearing none, we'll have a roll call. Councilmember Mumm.
Aye.
Councilmember Stratton.
Aye.
Councilmember Kinnear.
Aye.
Council President Sinai. Councilmember Burke.
Aye.
Councilmember Cathcart.
Aye.
Councilmember Wilkerson.
Aye.
All right. That passes 7-0. Next, special budget ordinance.
Ordinance C-36-135, Public Safety and Judicial Grant Fund. Number 1, increase revenue by $69,341. A, $69,341 of the increased revenue in the police department is the distribution from the state to assist with one-time costs related to law enforcement and criminal justice-related legislation enacted between January 1, 2020 and June 30, 2021. 2, increase appropriations by $69,341. A, increase appropriations will be used to procure safety equipment for the Spokane Police Hostage Negotiation Team. This action allows for procuring additional safety equipment and tools to adhere to new state legislation.
All right. And again, we have one community member who would like to testify, and that's Nicolette Ochiltree. Nicolette, if you'd like to hit star 3. Welcome to City Council again. You have up to 3 minutes.
Thank you, and good evening again. As I understand it, these are funds from the state for one-time costs associated with the needs to comply with the law enforcement and criminal justice legislation passed during the last session. And I see the items listed are safety equipment, items for the hostage negotiation teams, and presumably this is being attributed to the demands on de-escalation and emphasis on least amount of force necessary approaches to policing. So do gas masks, level 3 armor, ballistic helmets, and communication headsets help achieve compliance with the state legislation? Ultimately, that will be determined by how they end up using it. Are these safety items likely to help them de-escalate and use the least amount of force necessary? I can see arguments on both sides. I do know that from body cam footage that I've witnessed from the George Floyd protest, that communication is severely lacking. Will communication headsets help that? I hope so. And it would have helped protect, in my opinion, citizens and officers that day.
Annalee.
And gas masks, well, considering I watched an officer get gassed by their own canisters and struggle to find a mask, choking and coughing and spitting and struggling to breathe, because of the chemical irritants and unable to do anything else, yeah, gas masks would have been really helpful that day. And some headsets, too, for that matter, since communication was such a big problem for that officer in particular, because as he walked into the gas without a mask, he thought he was going to be walking into smoke. So was the least amount of force necessary used during the George Floyd protests? In my opinion, no. Were their actions effective at de-escalating? That's a topic for another time. Suffice to say, the gas masks and headsets would have been helpful safety equipment for the officers to have that day. With respect to these safety equipment items being a one-time cost, I'm a little lost because it seems to me that once these headsets wear out or break, they will need new ones. And helmets and gas masks don't last forever either. One day they'll need to be replaced or upgraded, and that costs money, which means that they're not costs that are just one-time costs. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your testimony. Is there any council commentary? Councilmember Kinnear.
Thanks. I just wanted to remind everyone that most of the time these will be used in a hostage situation, most likely domestic violence or a situation where somebody's barricaded and is trying to commit suicide by cop. So for me, this is a no-brainer. I want to make sure that women and children are protected in situations like this, and this is the best way to ensure that, best way to ensure that police are protected and able to protect the victims. Thanks.
Thank you. Any further commentary from council members? All right. Seeing and hearing none, I'll have the roll call. Councilmember Mumm.
Aye.
Councilmember Stratton.
Aye.
Councilmember Kinnear.
Aye.
Council President's an aye. Councilmember Burke.
Nay.
Councilmember Cathcart.
Aye.
Councilmember Wilkerson.
Aye.
Okay, that passes 6-1. And we have one more special budget ordinance.
Ordinance C-36-136, General Fund, Number 1, decrease the appropriation for Assistant Prosecutor and Legal by
Council President,
$28,000.
we can't hear
Oh.
our clerk.
Sorry, I muted both of us. Can you start over, please?
Ordinance C-36-136, General Fund, Number 1, decrease the appropriation for Assistant Prosecutor and Legal by $28,000. Number 2, increase the appropriation for the interpreter costs in legal by $28,000. 3, there is no change to the appropriation level in the general fund. This action allows for covering increased interpreter costs in 2021.
All right, there's no requested community comment. Any commentary from council members? All right, seeing and hearing none, we'll have a roll call. Councilmember Mumm.
Aye.
Councilmember Stratton.
Aye.
Councilmember Kinnear.
Aye.
Council President's an aye. Councilmember Burke.
Aye.
Councilmember Cathcart.
Aye.
Councilmember Wilkerson.
Aye.
All right, that passes 7-0. There are no emergency ordinances. There is one resolution for consideration this evening.
Resolution 2021-95 regarding an update to Appendix A of the Public Rule for the City of Spokane Riverside Park Water Reclamation Facility and Industrial Pretreatment Program and Lab Analysis Fees.
All right, and there is no requested public commentary on this update of fees. Any council commentary? All right, seeing and hearing none, we'll have a roll call. Councilmember Mumm.
Aye.
Councilmember Stratton.
Aye.
Councilmember Kinnear.
Aye.
Council President's an aye. Councilmember Burke. Councilmember
Aye.
Councilmember Cathcart.
Aye.
Councilmember Wilkerson.
Aye.
All right, that passes 7-0. And then we have a couple of items that were on the agenda, but they've been deferred into the future. And then that brings us to the last ordinance of the evening.
Ordinance C-36-132, reducing fees for construction of accessory dwelling units, amending sections 8.02.031, 8.02.066, 13.04.2042, and 13.03.0732 of the Spokane Municipal Code.
There's no requested community commentary, but Councilmember Kinnear is the sponsor. Do you want to just say a few words about this?
Just a few. We've been briefed on this a couple of times. It's one of a suite of incentives I want to bring forward. This is the first. It was the easiest to do. That's why it is the first. And it will save a homeowner. This is intended for homeowners who want to increase space for a mother-in-law, child, mother, whatever, on their own property. And this would save about $5,000 in fees, permitting fees. And it's not the be-all, end-all, but it's a step for us to take in trying to get more affordable units into our system. And just by the nature of the fact that they are small, they're accessory dwelling units, they're going to be more affordable. So you're not going to be paying rent, an exorbitant amount of rent on something that is theoretically that small. So as I said, we've gone over this a few times, and think that it's worthy of consideration and of passing.
All right. Thanks for bringing that forward. Councilmember Cathcart.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'll just say I think this is a great step forward. Happy to support, but we still have, I think, a few other reforms that we need to address on ADUs in addition to this. But happy to support this tonight.
Any other council commentary? Councilmember Mumm.
I just want to thank Councilmember Kinnear for her leadership in this area. You're just an outstanding liaison to the Plan Commission, and your knowledge and history and understanding of the importance of implementing these types of reforms in a smart way. And I just appreciate all your hard work and your staff's hard work on this.
All right. We'll have a roll call. Councilmember Mumm.
Aye.
Councilmember Stratton.
Aye.
Councilmember Kinnear.
Aye.
Council President's and I. Councilmember Burke.
Aye.
Councilmember Cathcart.
Aye.
Councilmember Wilkerson.
Aye.
All right. That passes 7-0. Again, an important step, not the last one. Thank you, Councilmember Kinnear. All right. Now we're to hearings.
H1, continue hearing on proposed 2022 budget, continued from November 8, 2021 agenda.
I don't believe there's any further administration presentation tonight, but we continued this from last week where we did have a presentation from the administration, but under the law, we hold these hearings open for several weeks in a row in case there's any community commentary about the budget for 2022. City Council is going to be meeting this Thursday at 11 to discuss its response to the latest proposal from the mayor on the budget. So you can tune into that either in real time by going to our website, or you can watch it on our Vimeo channel, Spokane City Council Vimeo channel, after the fact. There is no one who has signed up from the community to testify. Is there any council commentary at this time? If not, I would entertain a motion to continue this hearing until November 22nd.
So moved.
Oh, second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to continue the hearing to November 22nd. Any further council commentary? Seeing and hearing none. All those in favor of the continuance indicate by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, nay? Any abstentions? All right. The hearing is continued till next Monday. We do have some folks who have signed up to provide testimony at open forum, and it's going to be in this order. Sherry Barnett, Nicolette Ochiltree, Anwar Peace, and Kim Schmidt. So Sherry, if you're there, if you want to hit *3. All right. Welcome to City Council Open Forum. You have up to 3 minutes.
Okay. Well, I am very technically poor at handling this, but I really want to speak to the people of Spokane because I'm disappointed in the very low turnout. And it's a problem in this city when we have a mayor and a city council. The city council can just override the mayor and not even really work with them to hear their perspective oftentimes. I just want to urge everyone to work together and to let both sides be on committees. Listen to each other because we are at a very difficult time in our nation. And I've followed this city council for a long time, though I haven't spoken for a very long time. But my heart is that Spokane would do good and take good care of all their people. And thank you for giving me this time.
Thank you, and you did just fine on your technology, so I hope you'll come back. Next up is Nicolette Ochiltree. If you want to hit *3. Welcome back, Nicolette. You have up to 3 minutes.
Thank you, Council President Beggs. I was appreciative to hear that you all are considering a public records request ordinance that would make all public records available to the entire public when somebody makes those requests. And I understand the nuance to the troubles with being able to provide some of the records that victims request in virtue of the fact that they get sometimes less redacted versions, though I'm sure some sort of checkbox could be put down such that a victim could say, yes, I do want fully unredacted versions of my records to be made public to kind of resolve that issue in particular. So I was appreciative to hear about that, and I look forward to seeing more about that in the future. I was also interested in and appreciative of that Councilman Cathcart asked how much had been spent on that Cannon shelter to date, including the cost of purchasing the building itself. I think it would behoove us all to figure out what that number is, and I hope that when Councilman Cathcart actually receives that email back from the member of the city who said they'd get back to him, that you guys go ahead and make that information publicly available too, so that we don't have to file public records requests to find that out ourselves. Next, I wanted to ask, do high winds count as extreme weather? When it's excessively cold or hot, we open cooling and warming centers. When the air quality is poor due to wildfires, we activate clean air centers. But do we activate a center for refuge from high winds? I don't think so, at least not that I've heard of. Perhaps it's something we should consider. It's brutal being stuck out there, and I can't imagine having to sleep out there and have to dodge debris that's flying into the road. I had a little drive-by incident with a tumbleweed, a real-life tumbleweed. I couldn't believe my eyes today, so it was really wild. But, you know, suffice to say, there's debris flying everywhere. There's very high winds. We may get trees down, tonight, and folks are still sleeping outside. So please take that into consideration, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. And next is Anwar Peace. Anwar, if you'd like to hit *3. All right. Welcome to City Council. Anwar, you have up to 3 minutes.
Good evening, Council. As a 21-year police accountability activist, just when I thought that I've heard everything on the topic of police misconduct and unethical behaviors, the Spokane Police Force always finds a way to consistently raise the bar on my personal wow factor on these matters. I now have evidential proof that the Spokane Police Department is targeting community members and community leaders with harassment and intimidation, using the color of law to do so. I brought up this fact to the Council after my April jaywalking arrest, in which a few hours after my arrest at 3 a.m., the police chief was emailing a select few council members about my arrest, calling me a self-proclaimed activist. People told me that I was being paranoid and thinking that the police were targeting me because of my political beliefs. And yet this same phrase, self-proclaimed activist, shows up 56 days later when the sheriff's office released a 16-minute YouTube video calling me a liar about the fact that SPD is the third deadliest police force in the nation. 2 days after the sheriff's video, the same phrase, self-proclaimed activist, shows up in newly released public records of a series of emails to all officers in the downtown precinct, in which the emails talk about me as well as several others well-respected activists. This new proof that I have clearly shows targeted harassment and intimidation is happening to activists, which has a chilling effect in our community. Other examples of harassment and intimidation of those that are standing up for police reform: the Police Guild accusing a council member of bullying a newly hired officer who had killed several people as a Seattle officer. The sheriff interjecting himself in political ad campaigns against city council members pushing for police reform. A different city council member is dealing with leaked body camera footage given by officers to conservative media as an attempt to somehow besmirch this council member's good character, all because they support police reform. Officers are doing ride-alongs with city council members as a way of evaluating them for election endorsement by the Spokane Police Guild. What I've laid out before you all tonight is a clear case of an official SPD policy and strategy aimed at doing harm to those that dare to speak up for police reform by using police powers and mechanisms in targeting harassment and intimidation of these people. Police reform laws have saved lives. So why is the Spokane Police Force so afraid of police reform that they have resorted to these kind of tactics, which I've listed above? Which shows that law enforcement isn't being apolitical like the police chief said they should be. Peace officers must now change how they work on our streets, and the onus is on the police to embrace that change. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your testimony tonight. Next, our last speaker signed up for tonight is Kim Schmidt. If you want to hit *3, Kim.
Can you hear me?
Yes, welcome to City Council. You have up to 3 minutes.
Okay, good evening, President Beggs and Council. Tonight I want to stray a bit from my normal open forum topics to give props and share appreciation for our healthcare workers. Our healthcare workers have been on the front lines and remain on the front lines during this pandemic. My mom recently had brain surgery at Sacred Heart. She was supposed to have the surgery back in August, but it was postponed once the current wave of COVID began. The surgery was successful thanks to a skilled surgeon and staff. Being in and out of the hospital was quite the experience. Frankly, with what I've seen at work and around town, I wasn't expecting to see full compliance with COVID protocols. My expectations were set pretty low. To my surprise, the only unmasked faces that I saw in the hospital were my mom's, which was while she was in her room, and a small number of random folks that were stopped by staff in the lobby and advised that they must wear a mask. On a few instances, doctors, nurses, and support staff were all visibly relieved when they learned that my mom, dad, and I were all vaccinated and had our boosters. Quite frankly, I find their joyous reaction sad. Each day, medical professionals show up to work to save people's lives, and patients are not always taking personal responsibility for their own lives. We, the community, senior leadership, health district leadership, we all need to do better. The pandemic isn't over, and yes, it's frustrating. We are over it. We're tired of it, but it's not over. To our healthcare professionals, you are the true warriors in this battle. Thank you for taking care of your patients like they are your own family. Thank you to those who have taken personal responsibility for their own health and the health of our community. My family will be back in the hospital soon, as my mom also recently received a cancer diagnosis. This time, we're, meaning my parents and I, are not as fearful that we may pick up COVID in the hospital, as our healthcare professionals have proven that they are, in fact, professional. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim, and please give our best to your mother and the rest of your family in this time. That brings us to the end of our City Council meeting this evening. Thanks everyone who participated. And everyone, please take care. And if you can, take care of someone else. We are adjourned.